Math 10. Today we are looking at foiling, but this time with some special cases. Perfect squares and difference of squares. Okay, so remember to look at any binomial, for example, x minus 3, x minus 7, we can use FOIL to solve this. Okay, so FOILs, first, outside, inside, last. First is x times x, just x squared. Outside, x times negative 7. Inside, negative 3 times x. And last, negative 3 times negative 7, which is positive 21. And then we just gather it all together, group our like terms, and we end up with x squared minus 10x plus 21, right? This is a pretty standard example. Okay. So remember, a perfect square is something like, say, 4 times 4 or 2 times 2 makes a perfect square, right? So we can do that with binomial algebra. What we can do here is, say, for example, x plus 5 squared. This is a perfect square. If we open this up, it is x plus 5 times x plus 5, right? Because the exponent applies to the whole thing. Then we can just use foiling from here, right? So again, FOIL, x times x, 5 times x, 5 times x, 5 times 5. Again, put it all together, and we get x squared plus 10x plus 25. That's pretty bad x, but let's go with it. So x squared plus 10x plus 25. All right, so what we can tell from this is that the first term in a perfect square will always be the square of the first term in your binomial. So in this case, x would be x squared. The same goes for the last term. So the last term is equal to the square of the last piece of your binomial, so 5 squared. The inside piece is always equal to this times 2. Because both pieces are exactly the same, we're going to end up with the exact same terms for outside and inside. And if they're identical, right, 3 plus 3 is the same as saying 2 times 3. So we can actually do a little bit of a shortcut here, where if we have a perfect square, a plus b, whatever they are, squared, is the same as saying a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, so it's a little bit of a shortcut. The trick with it, though, is that you do need to be able to identify that it's a perfect square problem. Okay, you can only apply this if it's a perfect square problem, and so sometimes you might not be able to see it. It's not going to be super obvious. So you can go about it the long way, or if you can identify it's a perfect square, you can just go about it this way and use this little shortcut, okay? So that is perfect squares. Now, difference of squares. If I have something like, say, 2x plus 6 and 2x minus 6, okay? It's very similar, right? The numbers are very similar, right? This is the same as this. The only difference is that one of these is positive, one of these is negative, okay? Otherwise, they do look very similar. Now again, we'll go by it with foiling first. Let's see what happens here, okay? So first is 2x times 2x, which is 2 times 2 is 4, x times x is x squared. Now outside, 2x times negative 6. 2 times negative 6 is 12, negative 12x. Inside, we're going to get positive 12x. And our last term is going to be 6 times negative 6, which is negative 36. So when we piece this whole thing together, 4x squared plus 12x minus 12x minus 36, what we'll see is that the center term cancels out, right? 12 minus 12. And our final answer is going to be 4x squared minus 36. Okay, so with this, we also have another shortcut, okay? So if we have a difference of squares problem, which says a plus b times a minus b, again, whatever a is, whatever b is, right up here we can see that, right? So a would be 2x, b would be 6. A plus b times a minus c, we will end up always with the answer a squared minus b squared. Okay, you can see how these could be kind of tricky, or sometimes you can get them mixed up, right? They're very similar, right? There's one little difference, but you're missing a whole center term and it's negative, okay? So this is a difference of squares problem. Okay, that's it for today. I want you to practice on the homework questions, doing it both ways, okay? So make sure you do it through foiling and then see if it works through the shortcuts, okay? Try and do a couple questions of each style. Don't just go straight to the shortcut. Don't just ignore the shortcut. Try it both ways.